and art. Art matters. And it does. Not just politics. There's an artist named Andy Goldsworthy. And whatever section this video is in, I will take the time to find a link. I haven't found it yet. I didn't look, but I'm sure he's got some good stuff on the web somewhere. And I will find some examples of his work and I'll put them in the sidebar. But Andy Goldsworthy, 6 Degrees of Separation. I'll share a little of myself with you. At some point when I could afford it, I went back to community college and I started taking classes. I took photography classes. A lot of these black and white pictures on my walls was during that period. I took all the photography classes I could possibly take. And then I took all the video classes I could possibly take. In fact, some of the teachers even like created new classes so me and some other guys and girls, or young women, that were interested in it could keep taking their class. It happened in video. The teacher opened up a new class so he could have some of his students that he enjoyed come back. And the photography courses the same way. But after a while, I mean, the color classes were during the day, and I'm a working stiff. I couldn't go. And then I started taking metalsmithing. And metalsmithing just fit in so well with what I do for a living, for my job. And I was telling somebody about the idea of reincarnation. It was Killer Queen Carol. I talked to her on the phone. It's a guy, okay, but the etiquette of drag queens you refer him, and he's not really a drag queen. I'm sure it's okay for me to share. He's a character. It's a character he does on YouTube, and he has a private life, okay, and he doesn't want that private life to interfere with his life on YouTube, okay? That's why he does things in disguise. That's why, like some of you, don't show your faces. You do stuff with puppets. Jeff came out from behind. What a brave man, But we were talking about reincarnation, and we had a really nice conversation. And it's not creepy or anything. He's an all right guy. I'm not homophobic about stuff. So I don't particularly believe in reincarnation, but I believe in ancestral memory. And the idea that ancestral memory is that our DNA is very complicated. It's like a hard drive that copies itself. It replicates itself. And each time it replicates itself, it makes different changes. Both your parents add to that database. And one of the things that not only is the color of your eyes, the color of your skin, your intelligence, etc., your physical build get copied, but perhaps some memories or something, ancestral memory. When somebody thinks that they're experiencing a memory in reincarnation, I believe that it's ancestral memory, that you're remembering that somebody way back in your lineage, your family tree, has passed on a memory or a feeling or a sense. My ancestors on my father's side came from the British Isles. I think that's why I like rainy, foggy weather. I'm not a big fan of tropical, climates. It's good, it's nice to relax and enjoy the heat for a little while, but I can't take it day after day. It's funny, like I ended up in San Diego. It's because my dad hated the cold. He grew up in Oregon, and he said he froze to death. So, plus he's an old man, when you're old, you don't like the cold, I guess. I don't know, we'll see what happens. I'm getting old too. So, my point, what was I getting to? When I took metalsmithing, I felt so connected. I started learning blacksmithing. And it was besides the welding and the metal feels natural to me. I love working with metal. I haven't been doing it lately. And I know after the holidays, I'll start posting pictures of my past work and start some new stuff. But I'm depressed, okay? I can't deal. It's hard enough for me just to go to work. So, I think that somewhere along my family tree, and my father worked in weapons research, so did both of his brothers. And the idea that I feel that somewhere, you might think I'm crazy, but my ancestors built swords for warriors. The hammered out armor. When I have a hammer in my hand and I'm beating out a piece of hot metal on an anvil, or even cold forging, a piece of cold metal, and forming that metal and making a shape, I am so connected. You know, it is like people that are musicians that when they say they're in the zone, you know, and, you know, I can like cut myself. I've cut my hands so many times, burned my hands, burned other parts of my body so many times I'm working with that stuff. And if somebody would say like, you're going to be hurt this many times if you go into this trade, you can, you know, you go, whoa, dude, that sounds terrible. But you don't mind. You know, you just don't. I feel sorry for these people that work in offices and that's all they know and they're paper shufflers. You know, and I don't make any real money because, you know, I think I have the brain to be a white-collar person, but I don't fit in that world. Or I didn't have the opportunities, or I didn't have the break. I didn't have anybody to show me how to do that. My father was a man that worked with his hands. He was an engineer, but he never gave me any encouragement in anything. You know, my father was one of those really standoffish, white Anglo-Saxon Protestant men, you know, that never ever said, you're doing good, okay? I'm proud of you. Never once, ever directly said to me that he was proud of me. And now he's dead, you know. But I know that he loved me, but that's the thing about that sort of stern, white guy, white Anglo-Saxon Protestant, you know. And that's what most, you know, nativists think of America. That's what represents America, you know. I disagree that that's not the real America. But I'm proud of that part of my heritage. And I've learned to appreciate my Mexican side more and more. That part came later. But, God, sorry. Sorry if I went on some kind of rant. But I'm part Irish, too, on my side. I mentioned that to Gore. Of course, we were probably Orangemen. No offense, dude. Cheers. All right. Well, this is going to be longer than I thought. What was I talking about? I was starting talking about metalsmithing. I'm so sorry. I lost my train of thought. I took metalsmithing, and I got such a big crush on the woman who taught the class. And she was this really, really, I think, beautiful. Looked like Stephanie Zimbalist Jr. If you don't know who that is, used to be on a show with Pierce Brosnan called Remington Steele. Stephanie Zimbalist Jr., she looked like Stephanie Zimbalist Jr. and I was so attracted to her. And that made me want to go to class, and it made me want to impress her every night. And that's why I don't really do any art. I don't have any woman to impress right now. I'll tell you, it's a strong motivator. It really is for me as an artist to make something for somebody. I can't make stuff for myself. I have to make it for somebody else. That's the only thing that motivates me. And if I'm in love with that person in a romantic way, it motivates me even more. It's like a drug. So, the 6 degrees of separation, I'm going the long way around it. I probably need to go back on my meds, people. Can't keep that train of thought. Andy Goldsworthy. Andy Goldsworthy is an artist that came to San Diego, and my metalsmithing teacher worked with him. And she's the one that let me know about him. And so I feel a connection to Andy Goldsworthy because I know somebody that knew him. And I saw something in the paper about him. I'll try to hold that up. And what he does, now you can't tell what that is, but it's a rock, and he's taken wool and formed patterns on it. And it's sort of like he fits in a weird kind of in-between place. He's like a sculptor that works in nature, but most of his work is very temporary. So it's the photographs that stand up. That's the body of his work, mainly the photographs. And so he's kind of a photographer, but not. And if you're a sculptor, I could even say visual artist, there's a lot of inspiration in his work. He's really, really awesome. I think he's English, but he's really Andy Goldsworthy.